Hello guys, welcome to another video. And this time I'm going to talk to you about the steps that you could take when you're facilitating any type of user interviews or usability testing or user testing. I find the best way actually is based on the design sprint model. In the book, it talks about the 5-act interview. In this version, I'm going to talk to you about the 6 steps. So it's basically the 5-act interview from sprint plus 1, which is an Alvin's take on it. All right, let's get onto it. Guys, before we get into step number 1, I'd really appreciate it if you give us a thumbs up and subscribe as well, and hit that notification button if you enjoy this type of videos, because you'll get notified whenever we upload one every week. All right, so step number 1 is the friendly welcome. The friendly welcome is really you greeting your user tester, whether you're doing this remotely or you're doing this in face-to-face. Greeting someone in a friendly manner is very important. As a matter of fact, every time you meet someone new, obviously you want to greet them. So say hello and show them to the interview room if it was a face-to-face scenario. If it was a Zoom call over a remote design sprint, then obviously you just want to talk about general things, which leads me to step number 2. Step number 2 is the context questions. It's really just you as a human trying to get to know another human. It's really about understanding, their role, and depending on what the product is about as well that you're testing, but you want to understand general things. What do they do on a daily basis that is relevant to why they are a user tester? But you want to talk about just context questions about the product, the brand. Do they know about the brand? Have they heard about it before? Are they familiar with similar type of apps? That sort of thing. So just general get to know each other, introduction type of conversation. Don't leave it for way too long. I would probably spend about 3 to 5 minutes for this. The next thing is you want to share and reveal the prototype. In a face-to-face situation, you'd hand over the device or the computer or whatever it is that you're testing, or whatever medium that you're using for testing. In a remote sprint, that's the moment where you'll bring up the prototype or send them a link, share them a link, or SMS them the link as well, that sort of thing, because you want them to finally see the product that they're about to test. Oftentimes, it's best to not share it with them before the session. You don't want them to think about it for some time before giving their feedback. We want a spontaneous type of feedback oftentimes. So this 3rd step is about revealing the prototype to the user tester. Step number 4 is really the main thing out of a user interview. This is where the meaty part happens. It's about user tasks and scenarios. This is when you start creating scenarios for them. For example, imagine or picture a situation where you're about to buy this product. What would you do? What would your natural instincts do? And then let them do it as they're talking and commenting about the prototype. And you would take notes as well as a facilitator. But user tasks and scenarios is really, I'd probably spend about half an hour or 40 minutes, and that's probably the main thing out of this user interview and the point of all of this. So you would run different types of tasks and scenarios against your user tester so they can give you feedback on the features or the design or whatever it is that you wanted to test. Step number 5 is debrief and summarize. So at the end of the scenarios and the tasks, you want to ask your user, how do they feel about it? Some people do like a rating system out of 5. What would you rate this? And obviously, you want the users to be as honest as possible. And you want to debrief as well. There might be certain challenges that they're facing, and while you were observing them, you might want to clarify certain things. I noticed you did this. Why is that? Or you can also ask questions around, so far using this, how does it feel comparing to some of the other apps that are similar to this? You can also ask questions about what are the other apps that they use on a daily basis, and try to get as much information as possible that may or may not be directly relevant to the app that they were testing themselves. It's fine. And finally, step number 6 is appreciate and compensate. Oftentimes in a usability testing scenario or user testing scenarios, you're taking someone's time out of their day, whether it's a working hour, a working day or not, but you're still taking someone's time. So it would be very nice for you to appreciate them. A nice gesture of thank you is always very good. Here at Relab, we give out certain things, whether it's a movie voucher, a voucher to dine out, or a gift card, or things like that. And it can be something that you work out with your clients as well, or the company that you're in. If you're working for a clothing company, you might want to give out a voucher, things like that. But yeah, a thank you and a compensation, some sort of compensation is always very helpful. And I'm sure your user testers will really appreciate it, and it will leave them a good impression as well in the brand. And that is it, guys. Hopefully those 6 steps helps you. It's not really just for design sprint, but for any type of usability testing or user testing remotely or in face-to-face, these steps will surely help you. All right, I'll see you in the next one.